As part of its crusade against global warming, the EPA is trying to impose strict new rules on power plants throughout the United States, essentially an effort to make them all leave coal, which accounts for over 40% of our electrical power. Used to be over 50%. And to adopt, where possible, renewable resources. Renewable resources are a joke. Only 6% of our power comes from them after over a decade of trying to advance it and subsidize it. But the EPA is moving ahead, and the power companies in the state sued in Supreme Court and got the court to enjoin the EPA from moving ahead with its draconian rules to force power plants to abandon coal. Now it'll be relitigated in the federal courts under the Supreme Court mandate, and it'll come up to the court again for a final adjudication in a year or two. In the meantime, the EPA is attempting an end run around the court decision by going to states and saying that sooner or later we're going to get the right to impose this rule. And you can mitigate the impact of the rule by buying in now and making some of the changes we want you to make now, and then we'll let you make fewer changes later if you make more changes now. The idea is the carrot as opposed to the stick. But whether it's the carrot or the stick, it circumvents the Supreme Court ruling, which was essentially that EPA lacks the statutory basis for regulating carbon dioxide emissions from power plants. The law that permits them to do so was passed in 1971 and deals with things like sulfur dioxide and nitrous oxide and particulates and other pollutants, not with carbon dioxide, which is what we all breathe. So this is an incredible extension of regulatory authority. And many states may take that offer, and they will find huge increases in their utility bills as coal becomes phased out and more expensive technologies are used instead. Now, there's a simple answer to avoid all of this, which is to replace coal with natural gas, which is cheaper and emits only half the carbon. Natural gas has already gone from about 17% of our national energy supply to almost 30%, as coal has dropped from the high 50s to the low 40s. Power plants are moving in droves to go toward natural gas, but that's not good enough for the Obama administration fanatics. They insist that there be no particulate emissions at all, and it all be wind and solar and geothermal and other such stuff. That solution will never work in the United States. It does work in European countries, which are very small. Denmark gets a majority of its power from renewable resources, but it's a tiny country. In the United States, with our vast spaces, given the enormous loss of energy that takes place when you transmit it over a power line, over half of the energy is lost in the process. Those forms of energy will never be able to pay for our science, for our energy grid, without federal subsidies that would really impose a huge financial burden on us. So the EPA should stop this end run and just take good as opposed to perfect as the answer. Thanks for watching.